I found there are basically two prevailing opinions about Memphis from people who know the city. Either one, it's too dangerous to set foot in unless you have a death wish, or two, it's being sanitized by gentrification, stripping away its culture, and pushing local people out. As with most black and white takes, I would say both of these are wrong. Now, I'm no lifelong Memphian, but after 6 years, I've seen enough to form my own conclusions. I've walked every neighborhood, I've listened, I've paid attention, so take this for what it's worth. Now, I structured this video by taking a walk down Main Street, a single stretch of road that just might tell you everything you need to know about the city. Now, I understand that this is naturally reductive, but I'm trying to retain your attention, keep the video length as reasonable as possible, and be as truthful as possible. I could go around and show every neighborhood, but that wouldn't really be helpful. I'm trying to give you a brief feel for the city, and this is the best way that I could think of. Because where else would we start? The craft beer revolution has arrived in Memphis just like every other mid-sized American city. It's got bright, airy spaces, industrial chic furniture, parents sipping pale ales while their kids play on a playset. This is just to say that the optics of bars and drinking beer has definitely changed in my lifetime, and it hits with a massive force in cities like Memphis. And sure, these places are good for the economy, they repurpose crumbling buildings, they create jobs, and they are great hangout spots. But they all look the same, and they all feel the same to me. There's just something missing. But I appreciate their existence, and it's really hard for me to actually form a positive or negative feeling about them. What bothers me about these copy and paste breweries is the same thing that kind of bothers me about Midtown and Cooper Young areas of Memphis. It just seems like a city making itself in the image of everywhere else. It's not the worst outcome, and there are definitely places in Midtown that I enjoy. Overton Square is a rare gem in this city, and I'm definitely glad that it exists, and Cooper Young is a fun place to hang out and grab a meal, but it feels like there's something missing. Like these places were designed by a committee rather than evolving on their own in a creative way. That said, it's nice that Memphis has all these little pockets of stuff. And if you're looking, Midtown is a solid place to live, and it puts you within a 20-minute drive of everything you could possibly need. Empty lots, overgrown fields, entire blocks that feel abandoned, yet somehow lived in. It appears more in Memphis than in any city I've ever been to. It is pretty clear here where I'm walking, but I'll take you somewhere else to reinforce this point. This is still within the city limits, but it doesn't feel like it. And in some ways, that's a good thing. See, land is cheap here. Space is abundant, and if you have an idea for a business, this city is one of the last places in America where a normal person could actually afford to take a risk on themselves in the form of a physical business. In my opinion, that's something that's worth considering. It's a metro area of over 1 million people where you could have a Main Street storefront for a few $1,000s a month that crowds will actually be walking by, or a garage, or warehouse space, or just land. This could be somewhere to start and grow even if you don't have $1 million to start out with. And now we're downtown, but not quite. A little history, a little charm, good food, walkable streets. If there's a neighborhood that represents Memphis at its best, this might be it. When I talk about getting a storefront for a few $1,000s that people will be walking by, this is the area I'm talking about. There's plenty of availability and it doesn't feel overcrowded, but also there's stuff to do every block as you walk along. 2 blocks over, this path along the river gives me hope for the city. How could a place with a view like this ever fail? But nothing in the city is perfect, and the worst part about this area is it's small. So we keep walking. And now we're here, the infamous stretch of neon and blues and bad decisions. A lot of local people hate Beale Street. They call it a tourist trap, they call it dangerous, they call it a relic of a city that refuses to move on. And they're right, but they're also wrong. Beale Street is exactly what it should be. It's loud, it's cheap, it's unpretentious, it doesn't pretend to be sophisticated, it doesn't pretend to be anything. It just kind of exists in all its grimy, neon-soaked glory. Memphis is the unofficial capital of the Delta, an area long defined by poverty, cultural resilience, and a refusal to be forgotten. And if you want to understand Memphis, you need to understand that. Because this city has been left behind. Industry and agricultural jobs disappeared, automation took over, progress moved forward, and Memphis stayed where it is. Yet, the people remain, stubborn and proud. Now, back to Main Street. Further north, the city tries on another identity. Loft apartments, office buildings, trendy little restaurants with $15 burgers. For a second, you might mistake it for a real, functioning metropolis. This is Memphis trying to prove it belongs, that it can be a real city, and that it can attract corporate headquarters and conventions and men in suits. And honestly, that is not a bad thing. Because for Memphis to thrive, it needs people with money to live here and work here and build their lives here. It needs to be an option for somebody who isn't just a musician, an artist, or a college student. It needs that stable base. Counterculture cannot exist without culture. And that base does exist for sure. Between St. Jude and the rest of the medical district and the headquarters of FedEx, AutoZone, First Horizon Bank, Terminex, and others that you've probably heard of, there is actually a lot of work here. And these companies, along with other ones, will try hard to retain you because it is so hard to recruit good talent in Memphis. Then, as quickly as this facade appears, it fades. We pass a bridge towards Mud Island where the city dissolves into a scattering of warehouses and actual houses. This is where Memphis becomes kind of difficult to define. In many ways, it's an urban planner's dream. There's affordable single-family homes just minutes from downtown, a place where you could live, work, and play without spending your entire paycheck. But, elephant in the room, the crime is very real here, and the fear is justified. And if you move to Memphis, you do kind of need to understand that. You also need to understand that the crime is not the whole story. It exists in pockets, both geographically and in terms of people. There is spillage, but it's not the war zone that it may seem from the outside looking in. I've had friends that have lived in houses and apartments in every neighborhood in the city, and you can for sure go around and exist happily for years without ever encountering crime in any bad or terrible capacity. The city is different from the statistics, different from the headlines, different from whatever you think you know about it. So, should you move to Memphis? Sure. It's not perfect, not even close, but it is interesting. And for me, being interesting is better than being perfect, at least for a while. You can buy a house here, you can make a life here, and you can find something that you love about this city. And eventually, you'll probably find a reason to leave. That's just how this city works. And as for crime, there is no solution. Not one that can be solved by a round of thinking from people who don't live here. The only thing that would fix it is a collective shift in values, a universal agreement that life is worth more than whatever petty grievances or selfishness lead to the violence in the first place. And of course that will never happen. So just carry a gun and maybe don't walk around the most dangerous city in America alone with thousands of dollars of camera equipment. I think I may have maxed out the universe's leniency on that one.